Queen's University. But I actually won't be going back up to university this year. I thought I would be going back full time, but I'm actually still going to be taking all remote classes. I might go back here and there, kind of like what I did last year, just for a couple weeks here and there. But I'm still dealing with, I haven't really talked to you guys about this much, but I'm dealing with medical issues, just like a medical condition. So it's good to be close to home, just for like doctor's visits and specialist visits, just while we try and like figure out kind of what's happening. And I'm also working on my clothing line, but today I got some really rough news about that, so I'll have to do a whole video on my second channel where I talk about my clothing line, because that's just, it was just awful. My samples are horrific, so I'm gonna have to get a whole new manufacturer. But anyways, we're gonna talk about dorm stuff. So if you're getting ready to go to university or college, hopefully this video is helpful. And I wanted to get it out a little bit early here so you had time to shop. Sorry about the rambling in the beginning, but we're gonna jump in now. So for dorm essentials, you will likely have a laundry room that you'll have to like go down to. Ours was on the main floor, so I would highly recommend having a laundry basket that you can carry. I had a laundry basket in my room, but I also had one that was like a mesh one, so it had a handle and I could carry it down to the washer and dryer. Because carrying my regular laundry basket was pretty awkward, so definitely have a laundry basket that's like mesh that you can carry and also wash. It's nice to have one that you can wash too. I would also recommend getting a fan. Dorms can be very warm, especially because you can't control the heat. At least in the one I was in, I couldn't control the heat. And during the winters, because the building was so old and there were so many kind of like, I don't know, cracks and drafts, they cranked the heat, so it was so warm. And there was no AC in the summer, so it was just like so warm all the time. So my fan was running all the time except for while I was at class, because it was just so sticky and yucky in my room, and it's very compact, right? So having a bit of airflow is nice. Some dorms do come with a mini fridge, but if yours doesn't, I would recommend getting a mini fridge if you can budget it in. It's nice having a mini fridge if you don't feel like walking all the way to the cafeteria or something for dinner. It's just nice having some snacks and drinks in your room. And where my dorm was located, the dinner cafeteria, I forget what it's called, dining hall, the dinner dining hall was like across campus. So, you know, after my 9:30 class or whatever, I did not want to have to walk all the way to the dining hall. So it was nice having some snacks. I would definitely recommend getting extension cords. noise, which was nice. And you may be worrying about like, oh, what if there was a fire or something? The fire alarms will wake you up. Oh my goodness. Little story time. My building one time had a fire, an actual fire. It wasn't a drill. Nobody was hurt though, thankfully, but there was an actual fire in the middle of winter. And it woke me up out of my sleep and I was panicking. I think I had like FaceTimed my ex-boyfriend at the time and we were just like on FaceTime overnight. And I woke up, I was in a panic. I literally walked out of the building wearing slippers and a t-shirt, like a long t-shirt dress. And when I got out there, everyone was wearing winter coats and like mittens and toques, and I had completely forgotten it was the middle of winter because I was just like in a daze, and it scared me. And I was freezing my ass off. We were out there for like half an hour. People were so nice, but they were trying to give me their coat, and like we would like take turns wearing coats. Someone even gave me their socks because I was wearing like slippers. It was terrible. We ended up going into the hospital to try and keep warm before they kicked us out, but it was just so freezing cold. So story is, if there's a fire, try and be fast and grab a coat if it's the middle of the winter, because I can tell you, I was like getting I don't know if it was real hypothermia, but you know, I was freezing cold and I couldn't even walk up the stairs after going into my dorm because my feet were so frozen. I couldn't go up the stairs. I was like crying because my feet hurt so bad. Little story time. Okay. Anyways, now if you do have a communal washroom, you'll definitely want to get your own shower caddy so you can bring it to and from the shower. Also a long robe, just, you know, so you can walk back and forth. I got so comfortable, I just wore my towel. I literally didn't give a crap. Now, it's always good to like, if you like listening to music, have a little like shower speaker, but that's just kind of personal preference. And I would recommend getting shower shoes because you do not want to step into those communal showers bare feet. That's gross. And our communal showers got cleaned like once a week. So if you didn't get there on shower days, on clean shower days, you were in for a nightmare. First year really tested my hygiene limits because I would go 3 days without showering, which is like unheard of for me, because I'll shower usually at least once a day, sometimes even twice if I work out in the morning and then go to the dog park or something later on. So it really tested my hygiene limits because they would be so gross and like just unnecessarily gross. Like there would be things in the shower. It was just awful. So get shower shoes and get a shower caddy so you don't have to really touch anything. Okay, now again, if you have communal washrooms, I would also recommend getting like poopery if you're feeling like that. Some people are just totally fine. My one friend, actually, she volunteered, I forget where, but she went on a volunteer trip somewhere in Africa, and she was like, yeah, I'm not embarrassed about pooping in front of anyone because I went on my volunteer trip to Africa and literally had to poop in a hole in front of people. So I really don't care. Good for her, you know. Me, on the other hand, I was very embarrassed. So I had my little like poopery spray, which you spray before you go to the washroom, and it helps contain the smell, and I feel like it does work. So I would definitely recommend getting some of that if you feel the need. I felt the need. Get some slippers or inside shoes walking around the dorm and the hallways. Also, something that you might not think about is mirrors. I was lucky because my room had a sink with a mirror and I had a full-length mirror. But I know another girl in my dorm, her room was really old, but it didn't have a sink in it, so it didn't have a sink mirror, and her full-length mirror was broken when she got there, so she had to go to the store after and buy a mirror. So, I mean, check out your dorm and see if you need one, but obviously I'll want a mirror. Next is, I would say, don't even bother bringing candles because you can't light them for fire hazards and stuff, and you'll get in trouble if you do, so I just wouldn't even. charged phone just for safety reasons or for school or whatever, keeping you occupied, whatever it is, I would recommend getting a portable phone charger. It really saved my life in a bunch of times because I needed to get an Uber somewhere or to home and my phone was gonna die. Okay, now lastly, this is just personal preference, but I realized that I only have 2 moods at university, and that is this mood. Comfy sweats, whatever. I will go to class, no makeup, hair like this, sweats, I don't care, at class. My other mood is full-blown makeup, hair. I'm wearing a bra, crop top, and skinny jeans, and I'm out at a party. So half of my clothes I didn't wear. So I would just say also plan realistically, because I packed way too many clothes to university. It was unnecessary. I didn't need that many. And I ended up buying more hoodies and sweatpants because that's really all I wore was like comfy clothes or jeans and a t-shirt. I didn't wear any of my kind of fancier businessy clothes that I had bought because even if I did have a presentation, I wore like the same business outfit for each presentation, you know? I didn't wear any of my like semi-nice business casual clothes. It was just a waste of storage and space. So I would just kind of try and think realistically of what you're actually going to wear, you know? If you haven't worn this shirt in a year, but you're like, oh, I'll wear it at uni, you probably won't, you know, you might not. Okay, now I just have also written down some tips. I hope I'm not going too fast, but I feel like if I kind of talk on and on and on, it gets a bit boring. But some tips are you ready, seashells? Do not buy your textbooks until your professor says so. I didn't buy 2 or 3 textbooks. One of them, my professor was like, you need to buy it. I didn't buy it. I still passed with an A. But there will be times where your prof will be like, don't bother buying the textbook, you don't need it. And some people will just be really eager and try and be organized, which was me in high school. Try and get everything ready and have all your textbooks set out so that you can show up on the first day with the textbook. I don't recommend that. Unless they explicitly email you saying have the textbook for the first day, don't. Because I showed up to classes on the first day and profs were like, don't buy the textbook, it's a waste of money, I've got you. Then there were other profs who were like, buy the textbook. I did. Never used it. Sometimes I did use it, but other times I didn't, so it was a waste of money. So that's just a first tidbit. You know, you never want to spend more money than you have to. Okay, next is, these are more like for parties and tips, because if you're going to university or college, likely you want to know, have fun, try out new things, go to parties, clubs, whatever it may be. And that's kind of the time in your life to also try these things. This was also especially new for me because I didn't really go to any parties in high school, not at all. And the first time I ever got, drunk or tried anything was at university. So just, be safe. So some tips that I have, which you might think these are pretty generic, but still hopefully they could help someone, is always go to your parties in groups and have like a safe word or something with each other. With my parents, I have a safe word that I text them. I have 2 safe words. One is just like, I'm in an uncomfortable situation, check my location. The other one is, I need help immediately, no questions asked. Now with my friends, we have like, before we go to a party or something, we might have like a safe word or something that will just kind of say like, oh, if you're talking to a guy and you're feeling real uncomfortable, you might be like, Ocean, like after this, can we please go get some french fries? And I'll know like, okay, french fries, like she's uncomfy talking to this guy. I'm gonna be like, oh, for sure, like actually let's go out right now because I'm starving, and we kind of work that out. And always like every few minutes, I just kind of like to look around and make sure my friends are all there. It's one thing if you're at a house party where you know everyone and it's just like 10 people or something. because I'm like mad at them, but because I'm like worried for them, you know, is they'll be like, oh, are you here to pick up Ocean? And they'll just be like, yeah. No, don't do that. You say, who are you here to pick up? And they'll be like, oh, I'm here to pick up Ocean. And if the license plate matches and everything, then that's good. Because I have even like seen videos of someone being like, oh, are you here to pick up Taylor? And they're like, yeah, I'm here to pick up Taylor. And then they'll get in the car and then they'll start driving the wrong way. And the girl will be like, I thought you said you were here to pick up Taylor. Are you an Uber? And he's like, oh no. Like, what? So always make sure you're asking, who are you here to pick up? And you don't say your name until they say it. Okay, now, also, for certain universities, there are certain, like, safety programs. I would say for Queen's University, there's a walk home program, which I never used. However, I know that like, my friends had used it before, and it was really nice. It's basically, you would, like, call them, and you'll be like, hey, I'm at a certain spot on campus, and I don't want to walk home alone. Can you meet me here? And they'll walk you to your dorm, you know? And I think that that's so sweet. And, you know, there are really crazy stories, even at Queen's University, of people getting, I'm not gonna, like, explicitly say, but in dangerous situations, even just walking back to their dorm on campus, which is, like, really sad, and it's scary to think about, but, you know, there are really messed up people out there in the world, and you can just never be too safe. So always utilize those programs. I always talk to someone on my way home from, like, a friend's dorm or class at night, and I did have to walk through one sketchy road where even at, like, midnight, I would be getting catcalled. There would be people yelling at me. I'm, like, running to my dorm. It's happened. So I always had someone on the phone, and I always had my location shared with, like, 10 people. They always knew where I was. So that's really important. And also, Queens had, I really forget what it's called. I'm so sorry, guys, but other universities have this too, I'm sure. It's like a program, and my friends have used this actually a lot. If someone gets too, you know, drinkity, I don't know if YouTube will flag certain words, but if people, you know, are drinking too much water, okay, and they get out of hand and they get sick and you get scared for them or worried for them, you can take them there and they will take care of them, okay? They'll, like, help you through it, you know, they'll watch the person, they'll give them water, whatever it is that they need, you know, and they'll help them and make sure that they don't need to go to, like, the hospital, you know, because they might, but they'll just kind of help them through that. Or if you're too drunk and you need help, you can even, like, call the walk home people and they would take you there and they would care for you, you know. So that's something to always look for as well. Now, in terms of friends, I always get a lot of questions about how do you make friends in university. I made basically all my friends through my dorm. I mean, I don't have many friends, but I made the friends that I do have in my dorm. And then classes, just team projects and stuff. Clubs, be sure to check out clubs. Second year, I didn't make any clubs. First year, unfortunately, I wasn't good enough. But second year, I did make a club, and I actually didn't really make any friends in it, but I think that also has to do with the fact that it was all online. So it was hard to do that anyways. But now that things are going to be back in person, be sure to check out clubs. It's a great way to make friends. In terms missed due dates and stuff, because in university, profs can be really tough, and I've had certain classes where it's like if you handed in even an hour late, 10% off immediately. So you want to make sure you're handing in your stuff on time. Okay. Also get study help if you need it. I had tutors. I'm not, embarrassed to admit it. I did have tutors because I was almost failing my one class, accounting. Seashells, no. Original seashells, no. I almost failed accounting. I almost failed finance. It's just not my strong suit. I love math. I love calculus, but it is not the same as finance. And so I did have tutors. And, check out. There are tutorials that you can go to. Usually there are like study clubs you can join. My tutoring was free because I am an Indigenous student. My tuition isn't free, but there are certain universities have certain things to help Indigenous students. Like I do get certain like counseling things and stuff like that, just because Indigenous students do struggle with certain things and whatnot. That's just kind of how it can be certain times. So there was like counseling and like clubs and tutoring and stuff for Indigenous students, and I'm sure other people or like things like clubs and stuff had that too, like the varsity soccer players and varsity sports players had certain accommodations and things as well to help them, So I'm sure that you can look into that as well and see if you get any accommodations and stuff. You can also apply for accommodations if you have anxiety, any medical issues. I have accommodations because of my medical issues. That's why I get to take all my classes remote, because I literally can't sit in a classroom for a certain period of time on some days. So I have accommodations for that, but I know my friends have accommodations for their anxiety and stuff like that. So be sure to look into it, because if you can get an accommodation, why not, right? If you can get an extra half an hour on tests, why not, right? Okay, and then lastly, this also ties into my Have You Eaten Today? Let's Eat Together videos. Just be sure to prioritize your eating habits, especially if you are someone who has struggled with an ED in the past. It can be so easy to fall back into old habits when you're away from your parents and you're starting off new and you don't know a lot of people. So be sure to just, have snacks with you, make plans to eat with someone, because honestly, I did struggle with that too at certain times, because if I didn't have anyone to go and eat dinner with, to walk across campus with me and eat dinner, I just wouldn't go, which isn't healthy, and I don't recommend that. But that's why I did go grocery shopping with friends, so I had snacks in my room, so I thought I was still eating something. But my point is that it can be really easy to skip meals when you're stressed, or you don't want to walk across campus, or whatever it may be. And it's not even just lazy factor. I was scared to walk across campus late at night, even in the winter when it gets dark at 5. So just make sure that you're eating with your friends and you're scheduling time to eat and having snacks and stuff, because you want to make sure you're fueling your body. And something that actually a guidance counselor said to me that has really stuck with me is, when you are stressed out, the first thing to go is your personal hygiene and your personal priority. And that is also the first thing that people notice. They can always tell when you're stressed, is because they can tell you haven't showered, you haven't slept, you haven't eaten, and you look rough. And she's like, that is the first telltale sign that someone is stressed out and not putting themselves first, and they are putting their studies first. And that is so true, and I will never forget it, because there would be times that I would look in the mirror first year and I'd be like, this is what she's talking about. And that's when I knew I needed to take a mental health day and rest. So just prioritize your eating habits, prioritize your mental health, talk to counselors, therapists if you need it. There are free services usually at universities to help especially during exam time, because it can be so stressful. So always utilize that. Always utilize any resources you can, okay? If you are paying the tuition, utilize those free resources because you deserve it. You deserve it, babe. So yeah, that's everything that I have written down. My throat is sore from talking so much. I basically just talked for half an hour straight, so that was a lot. But I hope that it helped some of you. I know that if I watched this video going into first year, certain things definitely would have been nice to know. Like, I don't know, I'm trying to think what would be nice to know. I don't know. Whatever. But I hope it was at least helpful to one or two of you seashells, and even can get you a little bit excited for university or college, but also I hope it was also like good that I didn't sugarcoat anything, you know, because I definitely had certain expectations and certain things were sugar-coated, I would say. So there were times that, you know, I was really like worried on campus or things. However, I was also told a completely different story. Like, you know, I was told that like profs in university are absolutely terrible and they will not accommodate anything for you and they'll give you no extensions, which a lot of the times wasn't true. A lot of the times my profs were really nice and understanding, especially now with my medical condition. They are so understanding, which I am so appreciative of.